So this is the black ice set, I've called it. We're going to use New York Unicorn Poo. These are colour powders from my website. Some purple mylar flakes, some clear iridescent mylar flakes, which everybody's got in the stash. And then some purpley, goldy, sort of iridescent chameleon flakes. I've then got some silver foil, I'm only using bits of this. And then I've got some eBay special flat shapes. So I'm going to start with my Smile Line one. I like to do all my core colour ones first so I don't ruin my monomer. So take your bead. I'm using the size 8 Team Gorgeous Back to Basics brush. All the links will be on the bio, on the caption. So I like to bring my smile line down and I'm patting and pressing so I've got that nice wall for my reverse smile line. I'm just going to have quite a smiley smile line. You'll notice I'm just nudging it where I want it to go. If you get used to your products and using the matching liquid to the matching powder, you should be able to achieve this kind of consistency for a really good smile line quite easy. So I'm just pushing it into place and making sure both my sides are equal. I do spend quite a bit of time getting my smile line just right, especially on longer designs like this, because it will be very, very obvious if it's not quite neat. So just while that's starting to set, I'm just titivating, that is a technical term, I'm just titivating that smile line. Then I'm going to put my back bead on. Again, I'm taking the liquid out the back of my bead so it's controllable. I want my bead to sit exactly where I want it to go. I want it to be a nice pliable consistency. The colour I'm using is Angel Delight from my own range. I'm then going to do my next one, which is a sweeping flat design. So all my design work is very, very flat. All these next ones that you're going to see, I'm going to cap in clear. So I'm using Angel Delight. I've gone a little bit out of shot there, Angel Delight. And then I'm going to use New York. So I'm going to blend this up and just feather this out a little bit. Nice shimmery black. It works really, really well. I'm keeping this very thin. Unicorn Poo is like an iridescent flake with a blue tint to it. And then using a combination of the chameleon flakes and the unicorn poo, and I'm going to layer all the different elements up so you'll see as I go along. These little black and silver shapes that I've got are really lovely. They're very, very thin metal alloy ones, so they're not obvious in the design, but they are there. I like stuff like this to give things depth. Sorry, I've gone out of shot again there. I'm trying to get out of that habit. So we'll just keep layering that up, and then I'm going to go on to my smile line one, and I've filed my smile line just to make sure it's perfect. So bring my black up. I like to work backwards on this a little bit. I keep my brush quite flat, as you'll see, which means that I can really drag and move the product around as I go along. So that's my smile line done. This will be nice and crisp when I'm done. So on this one, I'm just using a real boatload of those chameleon flakes, and on the end, I'm going to use a little bit of unicorn poo. So I'll layer that up. I think this is my favourite nail in the whole set, to be honest. You'll see when we're finished. So on to the next one, and then these next three are pretty similar. We're using a very, very thin wash of black, it's called New York, a black shimmer. It's very, very rich, very deep. You'll see every time I turn it to the side, you'll see how thin I can get it. You want your design nails to be super, super thin. You're going to create a little sandwich. So you've got your back colour, which is going to give you stick to all your little bits and pieces and your glitter and confetti pieces or mylar or whatever you're going to use. And then you're going to encapsulate the whole thing in clear. So I'm just layering this up. I've got a little bit of foil in there. I've got the unicorn poo, you can see. I've got a bit of everything. I'm sticking the mylar down with just a little touch of clear candy, which is my clear powder, just to give it something to stick to. Don't worry about your mylar being stuck up in places, that's absolutely fine. It's such a chunky, thick, it's like angel paper, it's such a chunky, thick thing to work with. Encapsulate the whole thing in clear, it will look an absolute mess. But when you file it off, you'll see you can file it nice and neat. And because it's clear and iridescent, when you file it off, you're not going to file it silver like you would with stuck-up glitter or anything like that. So my last one, I'm just going to do the same again, just play around with it a little bit. Just keep adding to until you're happy with it. A little bit of foil on there. Everything I've got in this is very toning and it's got lots of depth to it. Little silver moons. Again, these are very subtle, but I know they're in the design there, so a Little silver moon, a little like black fleur-de-lis. You can hardly see these, but I just like the little extra bits and pieces. Tricky little things. If you're using these on a smaller nail, a more natural length nail, or somebody that's got quite a lot of curve to the nails, just get a dotting tool or a pen and just bend the little alloy shapes around a dotting tool or a pen to give it a bit of a curve, and then they'll sit flatter and they won't file off. On these nails, it's absolutely fine. So the last one's the same again. Just blend that black down. Keep your brush clean in between so you don't clog your brush up. I work very flat with my brush, and I've had these brushes designed to work very flat. So when I'm doing stuff like this, I can literally lay it down. It's just super quick for me, and it's super easy to use. This one I'm just doing the cracked ice, the Mylar, whatever you want to call it. Cap the whole thing in clear. You'll notice as I go through to the more raised designs, this one's very flat. So as I go through to the one, like the very last one I did, which is just a boatload of cracked ice Mylar on top, I work a little wetter so it goes in all the little bits and pieces. I keep my brush very clean, so I've cleaned my monomer, my dab and dish, sorry, I've cleaned the monomer out of my dab and dish, and clean my brush to apply this clear powder. I want it to be super, super, super clean, and I love my designs and my glitters and my pigments and everything to show through. So I'm going to keep this really, really clean and fresh. As I'm finishing through applying my bead, I just take my brush wet, not wet enough that you're going to flood your client's skin, but just wet, and I just run it through. You'll see I just run over the top, and it just brings any little surface bubbles up to the top, and it gives you a nice clear finish. So I'll just finish capping all these in clear. As it's design nails, I just go over the top. I keep it nice and thin. If I was putting this on a client, then obviously I put my apex in with my clear and my strength and my structure. So you'll see with this one I'm working a little runnier. So it's a little bit harder to control, but I love this powder because it is really easy to control, even when I'm working with quite a runny bead like this and it's everywhere. So it looks like an absolute monster right now, but you'll see in a bit when it's filed out, it's lovely and crisp. So that's them all capped in clear. So they're all filed now, and this is the best bit of any nail tech's job, putting the top coat on. So look at that. I'm using Flexi Top from Team Gorgeous. It's a slightly thicker top coat, and I love it to give lots and lots of shine to my design. So you'll see on this one, I absolutely love it. So get rid of the dust and top coat the lot. Looking for that line of light, make sure that's in there, give it a little wiggle. So I'm going to use my Fast Fix Crystal Gel from Team Gorgeous. Again, the link for all my products are in my bio and they'll be on the caption. To secure some rainbow, big, massive gems, some little opal gems, just a couple of things to tie the design all together. I thought it looked a little plain, and then I'm going to put some eBay crystal pixie style little gems on this with gloss. So I use my Team Gorgeous gloss. I'm going to pour that on there, and you'll see it just gives it a nice rich effect. I can't imagine doing a set of nails without any bling. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.